Pedal Power by Allan Drummond. Today, if you visit the city of Amsterdam in the Netherlands, you'll see people on bicycles buzzing about everywhere. Over bridge canals, down narrow streets, across busy roads, to school, to work, to shop, to visit friends, all kinds of bikes. Thousands of bikes, more bikes than cars. Ding ding. Amsterdam is known worldwide as the city capital city of cycling. Cars and trucks are allowed on the streets, but they have to drive carefully. Bikes rule the road. After you. Ding ding. Now that's pedal power. But it wasn't always like this. In the 1970s, Amsterdam, like most big cities, had a lot of vehicle traffic, and the roads were starting to become too dangerous for cyclists. You're too old-fashioned, speed up. So how did Amsterdam become the bike capital of the world? Well, it took some very special people to make that change. Young moms like Martia Rutten and her friends, and their children. Look, Mom. Every day, Martia and her son saw fine old buildings being destroyed to make way for gigantic highways. Extra wide streets and long, dark tunnels were built for all new vehicle traffic, but there was no space for bicycles. Crossing the huge, busy roads by bicycle became almost impossible. Ding ding, screech, crunch. Taking a bike to school or to work or to visit friends was a dangerous thing to do. Something's wrong, said Martia. The roads belong to all of us, not just cars and trucks. Her friends agreed. Cities like Amsterdam need bikes. Everyone began to speak up. Word got around and people started protesting, not just in Amsterdam, but all over the Netherlands. At first, the demonstrations were great fun. People even held parties in the middle of the road. Give us back our streets, they cried. Crowds gathered outside the Dutch Prime Minister's house. They chanted songs and called for change. Children banded together and proclaimed that some roads should be closed to make play streets. Television and newspaper reporters loved all the stories. The protests seemed like great fun. Then, one terrible day, a different story appeared in the news. A young girl cycling to school had been killed by a car. The child's father, Vic Lagenhoff, was the newspaper reporter, and he wrote something that hardly anyone could believe. This year, 500 children have been killed on the roads of our country. Many of them were riding bicycles. That was true. The situation was deadly serious. Something had to be done. Now everyone was angry. The marches got noisier and more people came out to the streets to demand safe places to walk and cycle. Meanwhile, drivers were angry too. The country is running out of fuel, and the government announced a new regulation. No cars in Amsterdam on Sunday. And that gave Martia an incredible idea. We'll cycle through the big new tunnel. We'll show them, she cried. But it's against the law. The tunnel is only for cars, her friends cried. That's exactly the problem, said Martia. We need to take back the roads. The streets of Amsterdam were silent when Martia, her friends, and their children gathered at the South Tunnel. We can't, someone said. Who knows what will happen to us? But Martia was determined. Let's do it. Today's the day, she shouted. And they all set off into the darkness. The sound of bicycle bells echoed off the tunnel walls. Down, 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 and along they went. Pedal power! As they rode towards the brightness at the other end, they saw policemen and flashing lights waiting ahead. "It's the cops," someone shouted. "Let's turn back." "Keep going," said Marcia. She stood up on her pedals and pushed on. "The police had blocked the road. 'This is a cars-only tunnel,' they said. 'You cyclists have broken the law.'" The officers lifted up the children and their little bikes and put them into police cars. "It's just not safe," they said. Back at the police station, everyone was served lemonade and cookies. "That's strange," said Marcia, and she noticed that the policemen were smiling just a little bit. That wasn't so bad. Maybe all this protesting is working, she thought. And she was quite right. The day was just beginning. Marcia and her friends came up with lots of good ideas to allow bikes, people, and cars to all share the streets peacefully. They proposed special bike lanes on busy routes, traffic bumps and curves in the roads to slow down vehicles, and new laws giving bikes the right-of-way over cars. And finally, people listened. Amsterdam led the way, and that's why it's the bike capital of the world. Today we see these ideas at work all over, from Tokyo to New York City and all over China. The city of Paris, France, has 18,000 bikes available for people to share. London, England, offers 8,000 bikes. In the United States, Chicago has nearly 5,000 bikes available. And Shanghai, China, offers 50,000 for visitors and residents to ride. And cycling keeps you fit. A bike is quiet, it takes up less road space, and of course it doesn't pollute the air. A bike doesn't need fuel, our legs do it all. And what happened to Marcia Rutten? Well, today her name is Marcia van Putten. And you can still see her whizzing around the streets of Amsterdam on her bike. Now that's pedal power.